Good morning, everyone. So, in the last class, we are trying to discuss with here hierarchical inheritance here, and so before discussing this particular hierarchical inheritance, we identified how these particular constructors are calling internally. How the constructors are calling internally, we identified here. So today we are going to discuss one more important concept here. So method overriding here. So basically, what exactly this particular method overriding is going to look like here. So if we understand here, so when a method in the subclass which is going to have the same behavior, like behavior is nothing but name of the method as well as so signature of the method. If I'm going to define in the subclass, the superclass method is going to override here. Like the superclass method is going to hidden. The subclass method we are going to call it as a method overriding. Getting the point. So for example, how we can understand here. So this is very important. The concept we are discussing, something called method overriding here. Now you can observe inside this particular A class, we are having a method called show method. Getting the point. In the A class, if I'm going to have this particular show method, we define with some parameters here. So internal whatever the internal the working style is not matter here. What we need to understand here. So the name of the method and signature of the method here. Getting the point. Name of the method as well as the signature of the method, it should be same. And now what I'm doing here, so I'm trying to work with the B class here. Inside the B class, if I'm going to define same method, getting the point. If I'm going to define same method, so this is a show method here. The type should be void here. Getting the point. Now what happens here? This particular internal implementation is different here. But here we are going to have between the relation here extends here. A and B, we are going to have relation here extends here. Now what happens here? Because the compiler cannot understand. Getting the point. Compiler cannot understand here two methods information. Right. Now if you observe, so this particular show method we define in our A class. The same method we are going to define in our B method. So B class method. So this particular method we are going to call it as a overriding method. So this particular B class method we are going to call it as a overriding method. Now, so what is the definition of this particular method overriding here? The method, when a method in the subclass with the same name and with the same signature. Getting the point, same signature, like whatever the method we declared in the superclass, it has to follow the same signature in the subclass here. Then the subclass method should be override here, and the superclass method is going to hidden here. So this particular superclass method is going to over like hidden here. It's not overridden. Getting the point. Now what happens here? If I'm going to create a object here, so how we are going to create object? So basically we'll create a child class object here. So something called b is equals to new b. Getting the point, new b. Now what happens internally? Whenever I'm trying to call b dot show, whenever I'm trying to call b dot show, which method is going to call here? Which method is going to call? The subclass method is going to call, because inside this particular subclass we are trying to override here. So this particular show is going to call the subclass information. So if the subclass method is not available, getting the point, if the subclass method is not available, so then the compiler is going to look for the superclass method here. Getting the point. So this is very important, the concept called method overriding here. Now we need to understand here with some example here. Let's see how this particular method overriding is going to work, and so what is the purpose, like why in the which scenario we can declare this particular method overriding concept here. Let me create a one more class here. Method override P. P is nothing but our parent class, and here into I comma j, into I comma j. And now what I'm doing here, So method override P, I'm trying to define constructor here and into A comma into B. So this particular constructor is taking two parameters, I is equals to A and J is equals to B. I'm closing this particular constructor and finally I'm defining the same method here. Finally, I'm trying to define same method here. So what I will do, system.out.println here, cutting the point, and here ing values here, right? And I'm trying to print ing values here. So let me close show method and as well as method override P. P is nothing but our parent class. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with one more class. C. C is nothing but child here. So inside this particular child class, now what I'm going to write here, I will define only one variable into K. Right. Into A comma B comma C. And here what I will do, A comma B. The super B identified in the last class, K is equals to C, and I'm closing constructor here. And finally, what I will do, show method. The same show method I'm defining here. The same show method I'm trying to defining inside this particular child class. So child class is nothing but our subclass here. So what is the information I'm trying to print here? The information here, okay, only K value. Getting the point. Only K value I'm trying to print. So this is all about the method overriding C. So what I'm going to write here, I'm trying to define the main method here. So we can go for the another class or we can work with the same class here. So there is no problem here. Now observe, I'm trying to work with the inside the main method. Now what is the object we need to create basically? So we need to create an object of the particular child class here. Child class is nothing but subclass here. Now, so once a subclass object is created, if I'm going to call the show method here, so which show method is going to call here? The subclass show method is going to call. Why the subclass show method is going to call? Because in the parent class already we defined the one show method. In the parent class already we defined one method, right? The same signature, name and with the same signature. So we are trying to define in the subclass here. So this particular method we are going to call it as a method overriding here. Let's see, we'll create an object here. And this particular method overriding, we are having three parameters constructor here. We are having three parameters constructor. Now what I need to do, I need to specify the values here. Something called, so 12, 22, 32. Right. Some values I'm giving randomly and I'm creating the method overriding something called child subclass object I'm creating it. So once a subclass object is created, now what I'm doing here, with the subclass reference here, I'm trying to call show method here. I'm trying to call show method here. Let me save this particular method overriding C, and we'll go for the our command prompt. And here, so method overriding C.java. Now what happens internally? So constructor object class cannot be applied. Okay, maybe we did not save this particular class, I guess. What happened internally? Okay, so here we did not extend it. Let me save this particular class. So I forget to extend this particular parent class here. Okay, now clear the console and compile one more time. Now you can observe it's compiled successfully. And later, now what I'm trying to do, here I'm trying to work with, I'm trying to execute this particular method override C. C is nothing but our child class here. So now you can observe k value 32 here. So why I'm not getting the parent class here? Because already in the subclass we are having method here. So basically here what we need to understand, compiler it's going to check, it's giving the first priority to the subclass here. Now you can observe C.show. So C.show is nothing but here what is the reference we are creating here? Method overriding C. Method overriding C. Now what it will do, it will go to this particular method overriding C class. It's going to check any show method is available or not. Any show method is available or not. Yes, if it is available, it will try to execute this particular show method. If it is not available, what it will do, compiler will check any class is extended to this particular class. Any class is extended to this particular class or not, compiler will check here. So if any class is extended, what it will do, it move on to the parent class here. It will go for the parent class, and inside this particular parent class, whenever we are having any method, it's trying to execute the particular method here. Getting the point. So this is the flow of execution here. Now, what I'm trying to do, here I'm trying to comment this particular section. I'm trying to comment this particular show method. Now we need to understand carefully. I'm trying to compile one more time and executing here. Now you can observe here I and j values, so 12 and 22. Getting the point. So now you can see, so previously we got the k value only. Now we are getting I and j values here. But why we are getting the I and j values? So because what we are doing here, we are trying to comment out this particular show method. So nothing but we did not declare the same method in the subclass here. Getting the point. So we have only one method. The same method is available in the parent class here. The same method is available in the parent class here. So because of this, now what happens internally? Compiler will call the parent class show method only. Right. Now, so I want to keep as it is. I want to keep as it is. Along with this, I want to call superclass method. Is there any way to call the superclass method? Any idea?
Yeah.
Is there any method? Yeah.
This super dot method name.
Yes. So using this particular super dot method name, we can call the particular superclass method here. Getting the point. So this is very important here. So let's define this particular method calling here. Getting the point. So using this particular line, now what we are doing here, we are trying to call the particular superclass method here. We are trying to call the particular superclass method here. Let me compile one more time. Now you can run the same class here. You can observe int values is printing, and same way we are trying to get for the k values here. Now what you are understanding here? So we are calling both methods here. We are trying to call both methods here. So this is very important example we are discussing method overriding here. Now, so where we can like if I'm not following this particular syntax here, so if I'm not following the syntax here, what happens internally? So if you observe here, in the parent class here, we define so without taking any parameter, the simple show method. So this particular show method is not taking any parameter here. Getting the point. But now what I'm doing here, inside this particular child class here, inside this particular child class, I'm trying to define one parameter here. I'm trying to define one parameter here. Getting the point. Now what happens internally? So these two methods are the overriding methods, or these two methods are the overloading methods here. So here the subclass method is taking one parameter here, and the same thing the superclass method is not taking any parameter here. Now, so we can consider these two methods also like overriding methods, or these two methods are overloading methods. So what you are trying to think here?
Yeah. So if arguments are different, always it's overloading. So when a signature and the name is same and the arguments also same, then override.
Yes. So name of the method and whatever the signature we are having for the parent class. So if we are going to follow the same signature in the subclass, so those method we can call it as a overriding method. But here, this particular method we will call it as a overloading, because we are not following the same signature here. So what is the signature we are having for the parent class here? Now if you observe here, if I want to call this particular show method, this particular show method is not going to call the subclass method. So this particular show method is going to call the superclass method. Now what I want to do, I want to call this particular subclass method. Now how we can call here? Using so subclass reference here, and I'm trying to add. So this is K. Getting the point. Or here I want to copy this. I want to copy K value. And here, now what I'm trying to do, message plus K. Message plus K. Getting the point. Now let's see, we can run the same example one more time. Okay, I did not close the semicolon. Compile one more time and execute. Now you can observe K value, so 32, and ing value is 22, like 12 and 22. So why I am getting the K value first? Because this particular method I'm calling first time here. So this is going to take as a first execution, and later this is going to execute second, and this particular show method is going to call the superclass, because in the subclass we don't have any this kind of parameter here, this kind of parameter show method here. Getting the point. So this is important, we need to understand here when we are trying to work with this particular overriding concepts here. Right, getting the point. Now what I want to do, I want to check with dynamic method dispatch. So dynamic method dispatch is nothing but, so runtime polymorphism we are going to call. So the overloading concept will comes under the compile time polymorphism. The method overriding concept will comes under the runtime polymorphism here. So what so what exactly the runtime polymorphism is going to work? So basically the so compiler is going to decide the so which method we want to call at runtime. So rather than the compile time here. Getting the point. So how exactly is going to so decide at runtime here. Now we need to understand the simple example here. So let's say now what I want to provide here, I want to work with one more example here. So to understand the runtime polymorphism and how this particular compiler is going to decide at runtime here. So which method we want to call. Here I'm trying to work with one more example. And so this is I'm trying to work with runtime A class here. Getting the point. And here now what I'm trying to call here, defining one method called call me method, and inside this particular call me, okay, println method I'm defining. So here runtime A, so call me method. Getting the point. So this is one class I'm trying to create here. And later, what I'm doing here, one more class. This is runtime B. And which is extending from the our runtime A class here. And here, now what I'm doing here, the same method I'm trying to define. Getting the point. So here I'm trying to define same method inside runtime B, call me method. Right. Let me save this particular class also. And one more class I'm trying to define. It's going to so not C, not B. So C class also we are going to extend from the A only. Here one more call me method. And I'm not defining much code inside this particular method. So simple message I'm trying to define. Inside runtime C. Let me save this particular runtime C class. Okay, so we save all the classes here. Now what I'm trying to do here, so we'll try to check with the main class here. So what is the name of the main class we can work here? And so to check with this particular class, so runtime, we'll try to check with the runtime polymorphism here. Right. And here, now what I will do, I will create a classes object here. So we create a runtime A class. And I'm trying to create all the classes here. Runtime A class. And I'm trying to work with 3 classes object here. Created 3 objects here. Carrying the pan. Now what I'm trying to do here, so one class object I'm defining here. Just I'm trying to declare super class reference here. I'm declaring here, I'm not creating any object for line number 6 here. So if you observe carefully, now line number 7, now what I'm doing here, r is equals to a. R is equals to a. And here r dot call me method. R dot call me method I'm calling. So here, which method is going to call? Here, my question here, r dot call me, I'm trying to call here. So which class call me method is going to call? Any idea? Because we are having 3 classes here.
Yeah. So assuming it will call A class method, A class call me method.
Yes. So basically, here the superclass object we are creating here. The superclass object cannot find the subclasses information. But here, the subclasses can find the superclass information here. Getting the point? So this we need to understand carefully here. So directly, we are creating this particular superclass object, and the object information I'm trying to assign into this variable called R here. So this is the same object reference here. If we observe runtime polymorphism.java, and it's compiled successfully, and I'm trying to execute here. Now you can see runtime A call me method is called. Right. Now, so now you need to think a little bit carefully here. After calling this, again, now what I'm trying to do, R is equals to B. R is equals to B, and R dot call me. So what about line number 11 here? From the line number 11, so which class call me method is going to execute here?
Yeah. So we may get some error because we cannot access child class method to super class reference. Okay, that may be some error.
Okay. Now, so here only we need to think here how this particular runtime polymorphism is going to work, and how the compiler is going to change the reference at runtime here. So now you can see I'm trying to save this particular runtime polymorphism class, and I'm compiling one more time. So it's the compilation is success. And finally, I'm trying to run the same example. Now what you understanding is, so the first method we already identified, so it is calling from the superclass. But what about this particular second one, which is calling the runtime B class here? Runtime B class here. Now we need to understand carefully here. So here what we are doing here, the reference we are passing B class object here, even though R is a superclass. Getting the point? R is a superclass here, but now what is the object I'm passing here? Subclass object I'm passing here. So now the compiler is going to check here this particular class, the subclass is extended superclass or not. Getting the point? subclass is extended superclass or not. So if it is extended, now what it will do? It's going to call the subclass method. First, it's going to check in the subclass whether this particular call me method is available or not. If it is available, it will call the subclass method only. Getting the point. Now we need to think here, even though the reference is a superclass reference, but the objectives, the particular method is calling subclass method. Why it is calling the subclass method? So here the compiler is deciding here at runtime, in the subclass we are having the method or not. If we are having the method, the subclass method is going to execute here. Getting the point. So this is important, we need to understand here. So this everything is going to handle by the runtime here. Now what you are understanding here, we are calling with the superclass reference subclass information here. Okay. Now inside this particular run B, like a runtime B, here I am trying to define one more method here. Same I want to copy. Only the changes here, instead of call me test here. Sorry. So test also will going to call, right? Not here. Here I want to define. Runtime A and runtime B. Back to here, our runtime polymorphism here, r dot test method. So you need to understand carefully. So call me we identified here, and test we are going to check. So we are not getting any compilation error. Now you can observe the test method is calling from the runtime here. Now what you understand here? The first method is calling from the subclass, and the second method is calling from the superclass here. But how it is possible? Because we are having superclass reference here. The first one is calling the subclass, and second one also it needs to call the subclass. If it is not there, we need to get a compilation error or runtime error here. But we are not getting any error here. Why? So basically, compiler what it will do? So it will check inside this particular subclass, if I am going to have this particular test method, again it will execute the subclass test method. But basically what happens internally, here we are not having any test method in subclass. So next step here, compiler will move on to the superclass here. The superclass test method is going to execute here. If superclass, in superclass also, we don't have any test method. In the superclass, I'm not defining this particular test method. What happens internally? Here we don't have a test method. Any idea in superclass if I'm not writing this particular test method?
Yeah, compilation error like this. Not compilation error. So probably runtime it will throw error like test method did not find.
While compiling this particular class only, we are getting an error here. Getting the point? Right. So basically, first it will check the R is having runtime polymorphism here. Basically, sorry, R is a runtime A class reference here. Getting the point? But here, in the superclass, the compiler will check whether the test method is available or not at compile time only. Because we are having the reference same class here. If I'm going to change to the B, in the runtime B class, compiler will check whether the test method is available or not. Getting the point. Now if you can observe, let me change here. I'm saving this, but here instead of R, now you can observe carefully. So B dot test and R dot test. So let me compile one more time. So here we are expecting runtime B class is going to give an error here. Let me, maybe some class we did not save. Okay. So because we are having here, because of this compiler is not giving any error here. Because the B class is already extended from the A. Getting the point. So now you can observe this particular test, if it is not there in the B class, now what it will do? Compiler is going to check the superclass test method. Right. In the superclass we are finding this particular test method here. So because of this, we are not getting any compilation error. Getting the point. So don't confuse here. So this is the runtime B class reference here. But in the runtime B class, we don't have a test method. But here, what we are doing is, this particular runtime B is extending from the runtime A. Compiler, what it will do? It will check the B class test method. If it is not available, it will move on to the runtime A class. So same thing is happening in our current example. Here we don't have any test method, but we define in our runtime A class. We define runtime A class here. So we need to careful whenever we are trying to work with this kind of superclass reference with subclass object here. So this is important here. Okay. So back to here. Finally, R is equals to C. R dot call me. This particular final method, compile one more time and execute here. Now you can observe. So we already identified this is the with the superclass reference we are calling, and this is even though superclass reference subclass method is calling, because the call me method we implemented in our subclass and it is a overriding method. Getting the point? Because in the superclass already we defined call me method, and the same method we are defining inside this particular subclass. So here we are calling as a overriding method here. Okay. Now we define the test class in our superclass only. So we did not define the test method in the subclass. So with the help of this particular superclass reference, we are calling test method. But the understanding is important here. First, which class is going to give the priority? The compiler is going to give the high priority to the subclasses. In the subclass, if it is not finding here, it move on to the superclass here. Okay, so this we need to understand carefully. And we understand here, even though the superclass reference, we are trying to call the subclass method. So what is our subclass? Runtime C. So runtime C is extended from the runtime A. Right, here now we can observe runtime A. Right, here the R we are pointing as a runtime class only, runtime A class here, but the method is calling subclass method. So this is all about the method overriding, and we will call it as a runtime polymorphism here. This particular method calling is changing at runtime here. That compilation is going to check all the method calling and method initialization and declaration, everything here. So any questions regarding this particular method overriding concept here? Okay, so now we'll try to check with one more example here with the method overriding here. And here Along with this, already we identified here, method overriding is going to provide the runtime polymorphism here. And so instead of here, what we are doing here, like we are going to create a one general class to specify the some common methods here. Getting the point. So like where exactly this particular method overriding is going to work. Getting the point. Now you can think the runtime method, like runtime A class is our common class here. We are trying to define the two methods here. Getting the point. We are trying to define the two methods. Right. So call me and test method. And this call me and test method is having common functionality. Common functionality, right? So this particular common functionality is going to use for the runtime B and runtime C. But here, what happens internally, sometimes I don't want to use common functionality here. Getting the point. I don't want to use common functionality. So I want to use specific functionality here. Now what we can do, we can override the same call me method, we can implement. So whatever the specific functionality we are expecting here. Getting the point. So this is the best example we can see. Now we can observe the real-time example of exactly. So this particular method overriding is going to work here. And this particular method overriding, we are going to work with interfaces here. Because in the interfaces, we'll define the common methods here. The common method, we are going to work with implementation classes. So we'll see later how exactly the interfaces are going to work. But now, so to use with runtime polymorphism, and I'm trying to work with a dynamic example here. Let's see. Class here, I'm trying to work with one class called figure. Inside this particular figure class, I'm having two variables. First one called dimension1 and dimension2. And now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to work with the constructor here. So double A and double B, and dimension 1 is equals to A, dimension, sorry, dimension 2 is equals to B, and I'm closing this particular constructor. So once we close this particular constructor, now what I'm trying to do, here I'm trying to work with one method here. So now you can see this particular method is trying to return some data here. The name of the method I'm trying to work with the area. So system.out.println, I want to specify some message here. So area for this particular figure class is undefined. Let me okay, we'll keep as is this particular message here, and this particular method is trying to return some value. Now what we can do, we can return 0 here. So this is completed here because I'm not implementing anything. So inside this particular figure class, the area method, if I'm going to call, it will return 0. Let me save this particular figure class. And after this, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create one more class here, rectangle here. And this particular rectangle is going to extend from our figure class here. And here, now what I'm trying to do, so same parameters I'm trying to define here, the particular constructor double A comma B, and directly I'm going to call. superclass constructor. Getting the point. I'm going to call superclass constructor. So the constructor is completed here. Now what I'm doing here, same method I'm defining. And system.out.println. So this is the rectangle class inside rectangle here. And now what I want to do, here I want to work with the variables here. What are the variables we are having here? Something called dimension 1 and dimension 2. Getting the point. Now what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to work with dimension 1 and dimension 2. Here I'm trying to multiply here. Okay, so after this, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to close this particular rectangle class. Save this particular rectangle class. And finally, we'll try to work with the final class called triangle. So triangle is going to extend from the figure. And double B. Super A comma B. So this is our triangle class we are creating. And after creating this particular triangle constructor, now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work with a double here. I'm trying to work with this particular double here. Inside area for triangle class. This is also, I want to work with dimension 1 and dimension 2 divided by 2. Something I'm trying to work with this particular triangle class. So these are the three classes I'm defining here. These are the three classes I'm defining here. So once I'm trying to define this particular three classes here, now what you are going to understand here, and we'll create an object here. Here only I'm trying to work with the main method here. So figure class I'm trying to create. Figure completed. So once this particular figure class is completed, now what I'm trying to do, I will create a one rectangle and triangle classes here. Or I'm trying to create. And now you can observe all the classes are having parameterized constructors. So now what are the values I want to specify? Here I want to specify 10 comma 20, and here I want to specify 15 comma 25. So this is rectangle class. Now I want to create this particular triangle class. here twenty comma 30. Getting the point. Now these are the three objects we created. So same example I'm trying to work here. Here F1. Getting the point. And F1 is equals to F. Right. F1 is equals to F here. Let me print this particular example because this particular method will return area. And F1 dot area method. Getting the point. So with the help of this particular F1 I'm trying to call, and F1 is equals to R and F1 is equals to T. Getting the point. So these are the classes we created. Right. Now we need to understand here how these particular classes are going to run internally. Let me save this particular triangle. So once we save this particular triangle, clear the console. Triangle.java. So it's compiled successfully. So figure is saved and rectangle also saved here. Okay, back to here. We need to execute here. Now you can observe. So area, the figure class is undefined. We are getting the default value here. And this is a rectangle here. And this is our triangle here. Getting the point. So how we identified the runtime A, B, C classes here. Same way we implemented here. One more example on the figure class. So these are about the method overriding concept and so runtime polymorphism here. Whenever the runtime polymorphism is working, we identified here. Getting the point. So we need to know very carefully here. So polymorphism having two types here. So what are the two types here? First one is a compile time polymorphism, and second one is a runtime polymorphism. Getting the point. Now, so the compile time polymorphism we already identified with the help of overloading method. So because overloading method we already discussed in the previous classes here. So let's see. I want to provide more example on the overriding methods here. Overriding methods here. Here, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to define one class here with the help of this particular code. We can work with method overriding example. Now you need to provide the output. So what I'm going to write here. So I'm going to define the simple example. You need to provide me the proper output here. So what exactly we are going to write here. Let's say here I'm having, so I want to define all the classes in the same code here. Observe, class I'm defining something called parent class. So inside this particular parent class, I'm defining methods here. So the method you can observe again, the show method. System.out.println. Okay, we can keep so parent show method. Right. Now I'm closing the parent class. Now one more class I'm defining here. Parent class. Again, child class. But now here what need to understand here, if I'm going to create objects here, so which one is going to call? Now you can think here, so P is equals to parent. So which method will call? And parent P1 is equals to new child and P1 dot show. So here I'm calling two methods here. Like first one, which method is going to call, and what about this particular second one? So which method is going to call?
Yeah, P dot show is parent method and the P1 dot show child method.
Yes. So there is no relation subclass with the superclass here. So directly the superclass method, something called the parent class show method is going to call. But when we are trying to work with this particular line number 13 code, here we are having, basically we are creating an object of child class, but the type here we are making parent. Getting the point? Object we are creating for the child class, the type we are making for the parent here. So in that case, now what it will do, compiler, it will check for the first child class object here. Even though the reference we are having child class object, it's going to work here. Okay, so this is all about the simple example. Now what I am trying to do here, I am trying to make private here. Here I am trying to work with this particular private method. Getting the point? And now what I am trying to do, so along with the particular private method, so protected void m2 method and m2 method and now because we need to follow the same signature to create the method overriding here. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm making as a private here, and finally I will copy this. I will copy the protected one. Right. And now we can understand here. Here, what I'm trying to do, Again, I'm creating with the same object information. Now, along with this, show one p dot m2 and p1 dot m2. So in this case, so which methods are going to execute here? I made one method as a private, one more method I made as a protected here. Okay.
So p dot m2 probably it will call parent method. So since when child method calls, then since it's protected, right? Probably it will call again parent method, parent m2.
Okay. So to run this particular example, maybe we are having parent here. Anything, let me change name of the class. We are already having parent here. Okay, I want to change parent to 1 and child 1. Okay, so I made parent 1 and child 1 because we are already having one more class here with the parent here. Let's see. So which object we created? Something called child. Okay. File name cannot find. So we'll keep this code in other class. Now what I'm trying to do, class here, PC1. Okay, bit closed here. Okay. So this is also, we need to create another class. So it's giving an file is ended. Right. So p.show. Okay, correct. So I'm not seeing this particular error. Now you can read this particular message. Basically, what I'm trying to explain here, the private method cannot work as a method overriding here. So now you can observe has a private access in the parent one. So now what we are doing here, the P1 has a private access in the parent one here. So this is we are giving an error here. Now line number 4 and line number 6 here. Now you can observe in the PC.1 line number 4. What we are doing here, P.show and P1.show, because this is the private method we are trying to call from the outside here. We are trying to call from the outside here. So this private method cannot be inherited here. Cannot be overridden. Inherited also, it's not going to work. That we already identified here. But what I want to provide, the parent and the private method, we cannot create the same method in our another class here. So it's going to give an error here. Let me comment out the same method. Observe. Again, I'm trying to compile. Still, we are getting an error here. Why? So this is not related to our PC1.java. Now you can see here we are getting a parent class. Here we are having parent class errors. First one error we are getting here. Let me close the parent one, something we did not close. It's closed here. Okay. So because of the particular, we did not save the class properly. Now we can observe Java PC1, parent M2, child M2. Because this two we made as a comment here. This two may be made as a comment. Because we already identified the private method cannot access from the outside of the class. But what about this? So first one, the p.m2 is calling from the parent M2. And now I can observe p1.m2. The p1.m2 is calling from the child. Now what you are understanding here? So first we are having the highest access modifier here, public. So let the second one here, it is a protected. So protected methods also we can work inside the method overriding concept. Getting the point. So this is I want to provide the information regarding this particular protected section. Now one more example, I want to provide something called final one. Something called final one. Here private method. Instead of private, now what I want to do, I want to make final. Carrying the point. And here I'm trying to remove private here. So you need to understand carefully here. I want to go to this particular PC1, enable these two commented lines here. Now we understand the private access modifier as well as the protected one. Now I'm trying to check with the final here. So carefully observe. Let me see all the classes saved or not. Yes, all the classes we saved here. I want to compile one more time. Now you can understand here. Show in the child one cannot be override show in the parent one. Why? So why cannot be override here? Now you can read this particular message so that we will have a understanding why this particular method cannot be override here. Getting the point. So now what you are understanding is the final method cannot be overridden. So now you can see method overridden method is final. Overridden method is final. Now we need to understand carefully here. Getting the point. The final methods cannot be overridden here. So this is I want to provide the information here. And so what about this particular static methods here? Getting the point. So what about this particular static method? So we'll have a same example on the static method. Let me remove this particular final and I want to make static here. I'm making static for this particular show method. And so I'm going to make one more method, the M2 as a non-static here. And what I'm trying to do inside this particular child class, here I'm trying to define static here. Here I'm trying to define static. So one more example we are discussing here. So directly, now what I'm trying to do, we are going to call M1 and M2 here. Okay. Let me compile one more time. The compilation is successful. PC1. Now what you understanding is, so now we need to understand very carefully here for the both the show methods calling from the parent here. Getting the point. Now you can see the show method. Here p dot show and p1 dot show. So why these two are calling this particular method here? Why the p and p1 are calling parent show method here? Any idea? So basically, the static methods, they are going to work the class references here, not the object information. Getting the point. Now you can think here, inside this particular PC1, both are calling parent objects only. Even though we created the child object for the second one, but compiler what it will do, based on this particular parent class. Basically, the static method we already identified. With the help of this particular class name also we can call. With the help of this particular class name also we can call. And the same thing, so what is the class we are having here? Parent one. So because of this particular parent one, directly it is calling the parent class method. Now if I am going to change to the child one. If I am going to change to the child one, now you can think here. So here, parent show and child show method. Parent show and child method. So now we need to think little bit carefully whenever we are trying to work with our static method. So static methods are going to work some different style here based on the particular type of object here. Based on the type of object here, the particular methods are going to call. So this is all about the method overriding concepts here. And any questions regarding this particular method overriding? So before discussing the remaining inheritance concepts here.
Do we have any particular name for this? Like we are defining parent name of P1 equal to new child object, right? So this notation, do we call with any term?
Like you're talking about the previous parent information?
Yeah, previously we defined this way, right? Parent 1 P1 equal to new child 1. Okay.
Yes.
So defining this way, do we call with any name, like we are defining child object with parent name, right? So do we call with any specific term or just its notation?
No, actually, basically, I'm going to call here child one. So we cannot call the superclass methods here. So sometimes what happens here, some methods are not executed if those are into the private or some protected, where whenever we are having any restrictions here. So in this case, what we can do, we can go for the parent reference. So it will check for the child, and if it is not available, it will move on to the parent here. So this is the way we can work with the parent and child relation here. If you are working like this here, directly we are focusing on the child class objects here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So back to here, like in the yesterday class, we identified so some of the inheritance concept here. So what are the inheritance concept we identified here? Something called simple inheritance we identified, and multi-level inheritance also we identified here, and so we identified one more inheritance called hierarchical inheritance here. So what exactly the hierarchical inheritance is working here? So we are going to have only one parent here. We'll have different child classes here. The child classes we don't have a relation, but each child class will have a relation with the parent here. Right. Now we are going to discuss one more here, multiple inheritance here. So observe carefully. This is the multi-level inheritance here. Now we are going to discuss with the multiple here. Getting the point. So multiple inheritance here. So this is the fourth one we are discussing here. Like how exactly this particular multiple inheritance is going to work here. Right. Now in multiple inheritance here, one class can have more than one superclass here. One class, like one subclass can have more than one superclass here. And we are trying to inherit the all the features into the subclass. So now you can think here. Let me provide this particular the diagram here, so that we can easily understand here how this particular multiple inheritance is going to work. Here we are having parent 1, and here we are having parent 2, and we are having child class. Now what I am trying to do here, I am trying to copy parent 1 functionality and parent 2 functionality into child class here. Getting the point. Parent 1 functionality and parent 2 functionality into child class. Now we'll have a simple example here. So we'll create a parent class, parent 1 and parent 2, and we'll copy into the child class here. So whether this is going to supported in class or not, we need to understand here. Okay. So basically, it will not support for the classes. It will support for the interfaces, the particular multiple inheritance concept here. Okay. So why it is not going to support? We need to understand here. Why it's going to why it will not support for the classes section? We need to understand here. So let me create a simple example on this particular multiple inheritance here. So to work with this particular multiple inheritance here, we can work with this particular child class, and here I'm trying to copy one parent class, and as well as I want to copy one more parent class called figure. Just for understanding, I'm trying to write parent 1. Basically, this particular child is already extending from the parent 1. Is already extending from the parent 1. Now what I'm trying to do, because the multiple inheritance here, what we are doing here, we are trying to copy from the two superclasses here. To provide the two superclasses here, now what I want to do, I want to provide the comma with one more superclass information. I want to provide comma with one more superclass information. Right. Now what I am doing is, I am trying to copying the parent 1 superclass and figure one more superclass. Let me So we created object here. I don't want to work with this particular parent one. Okay, and I'm trying to removing this particular inheritance concept here. Now what you are understanding here, I'm trying to work with a child class object here. So with the help of this particular child class, I'm trying to call show and do p2, and whatever the method we are having inside this particular figure, something called area. Cutting the point. So p1 dot area. Right. So two of the methods are available in the parent one. One method is available in the figure class. So this is indicating multiple inheritance here. Let me compile this particular Java C PC1 dot Java. Now you can observe what happens internally. Now you can see, so first error is giving from the child class. The child one extends parent what comma figure. Cutting the point. The child one extending parent one comma figure, it's giving an error here. Okay, and in the PC1 line number 10, area method is not finding. So if this particular figure is extended properly, so this particular method we cannot get any error. This particular method related error we cannot get. Now what you are understanding here? So the multiple inheritance here, it's not going to support here. So why it is not going to support it here? Getting the point. Why it is not going to support it for the class? Because if you think here in the parent one class and figure class, if I'm going to define same method, now what happens internally? So compiler will get an ambiguity. So which method I want to call? Which method I want to call? Getting the point. So this is important. We need to understand here. This is important. We need to understand. Getting the point. Now you can see inside the parent one again we are having the area method. So which we already implemented in our figure class. So if I'm going to call child one dot area, I did not provided the implementation for the area in the child class. So without implementing, I'm calling. So like here, something called p1 dot area. This area is implemented in the two super classes. Getting the point. Now here we are going to get any problem here. Compiler will give some dilemma. So which super class method I want to call? So because of this, multiple inheritance is not going to support it, right? Multiple inheritance not going to support it in Java for only classes here. So it's going to support it for the interface. We'll see whenever we are trying to discuss interface section, again we'll back to this particular multiple inheritance example. We'll try to execute the same example here. Okay. So as of now, I'm trying to stopping this particular inheritance concept, that multiple inheritance concept here. Cutting the point, because it is not a right time to discuss what is exactly the interface here. Okay, so maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we are going to discuss interface related sections here. So once we are familiar with the interface, we'll back to the multiple inheritance example. We'll execute the same example. Okay, so any questions regarding this particular the today class what we discuss, method overriding, except this particular multiple inheritance here. Okay, so if we don't have anything, like tomorrow we are going to discuss abstract classes section. So once we are familiar with abstract classes, we'll move on to the packages and package and interfaces here, right? So once the interface section is completed, we are close to the basic concept here. We completed our OOPS principles here, and later we'll go for the exception handling, multi-threading, and collection framework. So these three are the main concepts are pending here. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow.